Hi everybody, hi Tamar. Today we're breaking down another character in anticipation to Game of Thrones Season 6. We're going to talk about Randyll Tarly, better known as Samuel Tarly's dad, right? So talk a little bit about Randyll Tarly.
Okay, Randyll Tarly of Hall Hill, the head of the Tarly franchise. We need to understand something that in Westeros, Randyll Tarly is a big deal.
Right.
Like he's a celebrated general,
Okay.
a battle-tested fighter, a
Right.
true warrior,
Leader of men.
leader of men, the lead bannerman of the Tyrells.
So he's not on the top of his food chain.
He's like the subordinate of the Lord of the Rich, which is maester,
Okay.
and he's this bannerman, which means he owes allegiance
Right.
to the House Tyrell. He was twice on the losing side, let's say,
Okay.
during Robert's Rebellion, as a bannerman of the Tyrells.
Okay.
He and the Tyrells fought on the side of the
Targaryens.
Targaryens. During that rebellion, he was the only one who actually won a battle against Robert, even though he
Okay.
was on the losing side.
Okay.
And
Through no fault of his own. He was not
yeah.
the king or the prince or whatever. Okay, so we haven't met him yet on the show, but we've seen him a little bit in the books. And basically you can say that he's part of the elite, the 1% of Westeros, right?
Yeah. He doesn't question that. He's like a soldier, you know, following orders.
He doesn't even think that there should be any other rules. This is the world, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm.
It was for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it works for me. Whatever. Okay.
As the head of the Tarly franchise,
Okay.
his main concern is keeping the family business alive. The Tarly brand is connected to being like a fighter
Right.
and being like a strong military persona.
And in comes Sam. Poor Sam.
Poor Sam, sensitive Sam, feminine Sam.
Right.
And,
Not athletic. Not athletic. Sam.
Yeah, exactly. A son like Sam hurts the Tarly brand.
Because he can't have Sam, his heir, and rule Hornhill. What will become of the house? So at first, when we hear about Sam's dad, we hear about him from Sam being exiled to the wall, and he sounds like the worst person, like this horrible sociopath.
Yeah.
Actually, there's the scene between Tywin and Jaime, while Tywin is cutting up the
deer.
corpse of a deer or a pig, whatever. This is how Randyll told Sam that he has to go to the wall, otherwise there was a threat in it. So they took this scene and turned and made it Tywin's.
Yeah. So you can understand his internal logic, especially when you know that he has a second option.
Right, he can go to the bench.
He can go to the bench and pull out his second son, Deacon.
Deacon?
Deacon. Deacon Tarly.
Deacon Tarly?
Deacon Tarly, yeah. Who is, we are told, very similar to his
He's
father.
fierce.
He's fierce. He likes the battle. He likes the field. He likes the action.
So basically, Randyll wanted his second son to be heir, and instead of outright killing Sam, he told him, you have to go to the wall.
Yeah, so expect that the media will tell you a lot of bad stuff about Randyll, but you can understand that because from his perspective, he got screwed.
Okay, so why not have Sam join the faith or become a maester and thus relinquishing all his rights as an heir?
That's a possibility, but it hurts the franchise because he told it hurts the brand. He told Sam, no, Tarly will hold the chain.
Right,
so
or be a servant.
You will go to be a fighter on the wall and you will die as a fighter. His expectation from his son is to die as a fighter. So
because how will he survive?
Yeah, and so later he can come to these cocktail parties and said, yeah, my son was fat and weak, but at least he died like a hero on the wall.
Okay, so let's take this 4-star general and look at him from a historical perspective, of generals in the Middle Ages or whatever.
Yeah, so I see him as a general, like as a soldier who follows orders, but doesn't have necessarily a political aspiration to. We can
disagree. We'll disagree about it during the bold prediction. Stay tuned.
Yeah, like his main concern is not is to keep in the family name, and the family name is to be a fighter, a great fighter. And that's the family business. So I see, there's a lot of generals that I like from history. All of them are killers, yeah, but it was a long time ago.
Okay.
Like Subotai.
Subotai.
Subotai. Don't take surprise, you know I'm talking about. Subotai, Genghis Khan's main man.
Okay.
He
Go-to
led,
general. His go-to general.
general. He led a relatively small force who swept through the east and reached up until today's Poland or something like that.
And then had to turn around, not because they lost.
Yeah, and he was brilliant tactician.
Right.
And really a great military mind.
Okay.
He was like the #1 go-to guy if you want to kill someone.
Swell guy.
Yeah, if you want to conquer swiftly, professionally, he was the guy. But politically, we don't know about his aspirations and about his political talent.
Okay.
In the same sense, I really like Patton, General Patton.
Okay.
First of all, he was a general in the biggest, most famous war ever, the World War II, and he had a historical sense. He saw himself like a reincarnation of Hannibal Barca, the famous Carthaginian general, of Alexander the Great, and he acted upon it. He was very ruthless, but very silly politically. He had a big mouth.
No bastard ever won a war by dying for his country. He won it by making the other poor dumb bastard die for his country.
So now let's go into Randyll Tarly's psyche, this alpha male guy. Talk a little bit about his thing.
You and I, we have met generals. We even spoke with them. I think you even kissed with one of them.
Well, I worked for two, and I was like a very good friend to the former Israeli chief of staff.
So we have a point of reference, I think, that we have met generals, and I see Randyll Tarly as some kind of, like, he grew up to this situation. He discovered that he was good at it. This is his talent. Even Kevin in the books, Kevin Lannister, the brother of Tywin Lannister, says about him, like when you think about him as being maybe the hand of the king, he's a perfect guy to be the hand of the king during wartime.
Okay.
Like his biggest talent is like to fight, to gather people up. He's ruthless.
He also said that he's dangerous, but we get the sense, first of all, he's very loyal to the Tyrells, and we get the sense that he's pragmatic, that he's not a son of a bitch for the sake of being a son of a bitch. There was a reason to ban Sam to the wall, and he's not like a sociopath like Joffrey style.
Yeah, so
he's a badass.
Yeah, he's a badass. So we get the type. He's a general. He's good at military service. He's not such a savvy politician. We like to think. I like to think. I think he's a combination between Ned, in the term that he's like a follower, a loyal person, a soldier, and Stannis, who is ruthless and very like to the point, very straight.
Iron strong.
This is the law. This is the way we do it. This is how we do it, and you can go fuck yourself.
I see a little bit of a Tywin inside of Randyll Tarly. I think he's just waiting his turn. He doesn't play dirty, so he does what the Tyrells want him to do. But if he will get the chance to improve his position, he will do that even at the expense of the Tyrells, as long as it's correct and it doesn't do, I don't know, it's not like reneging on his vows.
We get a glimpse of Randyll Tarly speaking a lot in one of Brienne's chapters in Feast for Crow. And at least I got the sense that he's harsh, but he's fair.
Okay, so this is a great setup for the bold prediction about Randyll Tarly in Season 6. So what do you think will happen to Randyll Tarly in the season?
His role in the story, as I understand it, is to act as the demon of Sam, like one of Sam's demons. And when you think about it, Sam has already killed one demon, a real demon, but in terms of his development as a character, as an individual, we already talked about in this video that he needs to kill the father in some psychological way, and I think he will meet Sam.
Yeah, that's fairly certain, I think.
Yeah, and they will have a clash.
Right. Regarding, because Sam has been given an order by his direct superior commander, Jon, to go and become a maester, and that contradicts the wishes of Randyll Tarly. But now Randyll Tarly has no authority over Sam.
Exactly, and that
because he has renounced his name.
Yeah, and that's a conflict, because we know that he's like has a Stanis part. Like if this is the
Right.
law, then it's the law. I have to do it.
Right.
But
So that's an internal conflict within Randyll.
and his expectation for Sam is that Sam needs to die.
Right.
And then he gets his
Bad hand.
bad hand back to his house with a bastard boy and a wilding girl.
Right.
It's a lot of
and
conflict.
the bastard boy was born from incest. Wow, that's harsh. Okay, I think that Randyll has another role to play during the season. I think that he has to somehow hasten the falling apart of the Seven Kingdoms.
Right.
Seven Kingdoms. A lot of characters have this job to do because there is a lot of destruction that would have to go to come about.
We are in a civil war, the most
Right.
dangerous and harsh war there is.
I think that after that Randyll meets Sam, Randyll will be called upon by his lord, by the Tyrells, to go to King's Landing and help them in their fight against the Lannisters. And he will have to leave Hornhill, and this will allow Sam to disobey his dad's orders and go to Oldtown. And the season will end with Randyll joining the Tyrells outside King's Landing maybe and getting ready to take control of it, just as the Faith is getting control of King's Landing. This is my bold prediction.
And even maybe he will be the champion of Marjorie Tyrell and of Loras Tyrell.
But he's old.
So, because we have to remember, Loras and Marjorie are both in jail.
Right. Okay. So let's wrap it up. If you have a different bold prediction, or if you agree with this prediction, please mention in the comments. If you enjoy what we do and you would like to help us make this channel more sustainable, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description. There's also there a few details about all the special perks that you get as patrons, including the show, a series of videos dedicated only for patrons. We started it this month. It's pretty cool, so check it out over there in the link. And if you'd like to get our next videos, please subscribe. And we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Yo, Game of Thrones. Yo.